Thank you, that was beautiful. Hello. When I was 20, about to graduate from this university with a BA in History and English, my life seemed set. I would shortly leave for a year in London, working for the National Consumer Council, then off to Boston to study law. As I lunched with one of my favorite professors, someone who still teaches here, he was very young at the time, I declared, I know who I am and what my future holds. He laughed and suggested that much would unfold in my life that I could not predict. He was, of course, right. All of those upcoming changes, chosen and unchosen, led me to become who I am now, living a life different than I expected, but in many ways far more rewarding than I envisioned. You can't always get what you want, the Rolling Stones sing, but with the right attitude, if you try sometime, you can get what you need. I have had 6 distinct careers. People I loved died, some young, some suddenly. My long, seemingly happy marriage ended without warning. My home imploded from water damage and had to be entirely rebuilt twice. My body shattered when I slipped on black ice. I nearly lost my leg. I nearly lost my life to a pulmonary embolism, and I ended up spending months confined to a wheelchair. Yet here I am, happy, healthy, and pleased with the life I have created out of all those transitions, out of all of that rubble. Not the life I planned at 20, but a life more perfectly aligned with who I really am. How did I use my transitions, some deliberate, some unwelcome, to find my way to a place where my work, my lifestyle, and my authentic self are pretty well aligned? Decisions I made when I was in college set me on a path that permitted me to find and largely thrive in each of my careers. Now bear with me for just a moment while I make a point, and I promise not to recite my entire resume. Analysis, writing, pattern spotting, and other academic skills helped me obtain a congressional internship at the end of my sophomore year. A year later, studying in London on a semester abroad, I determined to return to the UK after graduation. Skills I acquired in college, combined with the legislative skills I acquired during my internship in Washington, D.C., helped me win the position of Special Assistant to the Chairman of Britain's National Consumer Council. His positive reference letter allowed me to get an internship drafting consumer legislation while I studied law in Boston. And I lived just down the street from the bombing. Those experiences led me to a summer law clerk position in the Consumer Protection Division of the State Attorney General's office. After I graduated from law school, the Attorney General gave me my choice of any entry-level AAG position in the state. When I picked up a spot in Consumer Protection Division, he swiftly replied, "I submit that you are picking that job because it is in a field you happen to fall into. I challenge you to pick something outside your experience, a job that will make you realize that you have untapped talents worth developing, and that you can, over the course of your life, as Philip so eloquently put, thrive in disparate careers." So I took up his challenge, and I volunteered to be a litigator, a career I'd never entertained, but would discover I enjoyed. My personality is such that I easily could have continued deliberately and dutifully doing more of the same, whatever that same might be, believing it to be my path. But the Attorney General's advice altered my thinking. His words suggested the possibility that My talents were diverse, that I could take risks, and I could change my path. So began a series of careers that eventually led me back here to this campus. I worked as a government trial lawyer, a corporate executive, a management consultant, an author, CEO of a nonprofit agency, and now I'm a senior lecturer here at this university. Since many of you will soon face or are in the midst of a transition, let me describe two approaches I have taken. One unnecessarily hard, the other more positive and productive. Please realize, if you haven't already, that transitions, large and small, occur all of the time. So there is no point in fighting them. It is better to learn to surf the waves that will come crashing into your shore instead of confronting each swell as a shock and affront to your life plan. Take this from someone who used to fight every wave. Once faced with the transition I did not want, I resisted. I tried to go back to what was and undo what could not be undone. I thought about how things could have played out differently. I obsessed about justice. I questioned my value in the world. Moving out of that dark, self-defeating place took a long time and considerable effort. Regular exercise and body work, like massage, homeopathy, acupuncture, eventually helped shift my mood and revive my energy. Doing random acts of kindness and spending time in nature helped revive my spirit. Volunteering for causes I believed in helped me feel useful. Learning to forgive transformed my life. During that transition, I also read biographies of people I admired. Interestingly, all spent some time wandering around feeling useless. But that fallow period of their lives, that time they thought was wasted, wasn't wasted. Their transitions instead resembled the time a bulb spends under the earth, patiently waiting for its moment to bloom. This multifaceted approach to transition lifted me from my despair and reminded me that I indeed had the experience, relationships, and character to add value to the world, and I plunged back in. Later, I experienced an easier transition. As the CEO of a nonprofit, I was outwardly successful, but after 6 years on the job, physically and emotionally exhausted. So I devised what I call a happiness wheel, a pie chart representing a 24-hour day cut into wedges, each wedge representing an activity. What did I spend time on? What did I want to spend time on? Was I getting enough sleep? Was I having enough fun? I discovered that nearly all my wedges related to some kind of duty. I determined to rebalance my life, deliberately building in some more things that would make me happy while still remaining useful and productive. I wrote an aspiration and I put it in a box. Each time I passed that box, I would think about my wish, a job that was challenging and important, but would allow me the time and energy to find a boyfriend, be a responsible daughter to my aging parents, exercise daily, develop and maintain comforting routines and rituals, give back to my community, and manage the details of daily life. Then, within less than a week and out of the blue, one of my board members offered me a position. I accepted her offer, but requested time to first wrap up my current job and then take a 6-month unpaid sabbatical. She agreed, and I poured myself into my last months as CEO. Adrenaline and a long-established work ethic got me through to the finish, proud of what I had accomplished, completely spent. During my sabbatical, the first real break I'd taken since taking the bar exam decades before, I decluttered my home, exercised daily, meditated, remembered how to sleep, learned to say no, found a great boyfriend, you'll be happy to know, adopted a dog, visited friends in England who I'd made all those years before, caught up on household projects, and reshaped my life using this happiness wheel as an ongoing guide. Then, refreshed and energized, I began my job here, where I teach leadership and mentor people of all ages and in all stages of transition and all different backgrounds. Back on this campus I loved as an undergraduate, I have found my rhythm and my joy. Since returning, I have experienced, as one always does in life, some challenging transitions. During my first quarter as a teacher, my father died. The very same week, I was injured in 2 separate car accidents. 2 years later, my brother-in-law died, and last June, my boyfriend died. But living an authentic, balanced life allowed me to maintain an atmosphere of optimism during each of those transitions. I grieved with intention, then turned to my toolbox of techniques for managing change, and gradually regained my balance. By learning to accept, even embrace, life's inevitable changes, I have grown more deeply happy than when I thought I knew just what life had in store. My mother is a great role model. At 88, she now loses approximately 1 friend a week, and it's a good thing she has a lot of friends and makes young friends. So she grieves in the morning, but in the afternoon, she still celebrates her active, purposeful life and goes out almost every night. I follow her lead because every loss, academic disappointment, unemployment, heartbreak, domestic conflict, illness, the death of someone you love, or even something positive like graduation, thrusts us into transition. We can fight the resulting discomfort by numbing out on drugs, drink, or food, lament what is past, try to undo what can't be undone, or we can build on the rubble of our lives and create an existence both flexible and fulfilling. As the playwright Tom Stoppard observed, look on every exit as being an entrance somewhere else. If we embrace transitions and allow loss to be the fuel for eventual fulfillment, our lives, though very different from what we think we want, can become satisfying, worthwhile, and oddly secure. If we manage our transitions well, we can use them to discover our authentic selves and align what we do with who we truly are. Thank you, and best of luck.